Hey guys, and welcome back to Treasure Theory. Guys, today I wanted to talk about the One Piece market. I wanted to really kind of get into what I feel like a lot of smart money is doing right now. I want to suggest some strategies for people out there who are maybe looking to get into the One Piece market or perhaps have already put some, money in there. But basically just talking about some potential investment strategies if you're trying to get a little chunk or a little change in the One Piece TCG. And we're going to address a couple of things as well. But before we get into it, guys, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Guys, Treasure Theory is growing tremendously. We're almost at 3,500 subs. That's awesome. You guys are awesome. Thank you for supporting me. But without any further ado, let's start talking about One Piece. So guys, when it comes to investing in card games, there is just so many different angles that you need to look at. One Piece and Pokemon, which are like the two main ones, and a little bit of Magic in here. You have to approach these card games very differently, okay? And if you don't know, One Piece has specific cards that, are like the ultimate sort of chase cards. And example here, we've got the manga cards. So guys, hear me out. Comparing manga cards to so many of the other cards that you can potentially come across in the One Piece TCG, there's no denying that for you to go out, buy a pack from whatever set, and potentially get one of these cards is a chase unlike any other. It's one thing to go out and buy serialized cards. It's one thing to go out and get treasure cup cards. But I don't think anything is going to beat the One Piece market when it comes to just the chance that you can go buy a pack and get a manga card. I think manga cards are probably the safest bet outside of sealed product, which we're going to get into, by the way, because I really wanted to talk about that next. But guys, when it comes to One Piece, you got to know your mangas. You got to know what is like the best mangas to be looking at. And remember, not all of these manga cards are, going to share the same price. Looking at Jewelry Bonnie, we see Jewelry Bonnie has started going up a little bit in price. Personally, I just think it's because when OP12 came out, that's when we started seeing a price increase with a lot of One Piece cards. So don't be fooled here. I don't personally think Jewelry Bonnie is going to be some secret manga card that's going to blow up in price. It's possible I could be wrong, but listen, when it comes to One Piece, guys, it's about the characters. We obviously know Luffy is one of the most favorite characters because he's the main guy next to Zoro as well. And, strangely enough, I always thought Blackbeard would be doing well. But he really hasn't. He really hasn't been doing that great, which is surprising because he's basically the main villain, or is going to be one of the main villains of the show, which we're starting to see as, we read the recent chapters, you know what I'm saying? But overall, guys, the point I just wanted to make is that, mangas are going to be very important if you're looking at investing in the One Piece TCG, and if you want to be smart about it. Now, some quick things I'll throw in here before I move on to the next thing that I really think is worthwhile. A couple of mangas that I'm going to shout out. OP01 Shanks. This is the first manga card, guys. I think it's going to be worth it to hold one of these guys. We can see here the most recent value actually was $2,000 when the market price is a little below 1,000 US. So, a shout out to Shanks here. I think this Sanji card is going to do well. It's the PRB02 manga, and as we know, PRBs, these reprint sets, they go up in price. Same thing with EBO1 Luffy, or EBO2, my bad. EBO2 Luffy, EBO1 I think was the chopper. But these chase cards come from these specific sets. Sets matter, Jewelry Bonnie, OP12, kind of a mid set. We got a Luffy card from OP11, a much better set. But even though this manga card is a Luffy card, it's the lowest Luffy card out of all the mangas, which is still worth getting, because I got one. And I think, it's a Luffy card. I think it's going to go up in price. But, I mean, that pales in comparison to the Luffy SPs that, are stealing the show for OP11. So, different sets come with different chases, and we have to realize that. But mangas, and you know what? I'll throw in here, these really cool SPs of Luffy are really worth it. Now, let's move on to something else. And by the way, and one last thing, there's going to be gold and silver SPs for Blackbeard and Shanks in OP12 and OP13. We're going to have to see what happens with them. Like I said, the Blackbeard card is Blackbeard's just not really picking up well. Shanks is doing all right. But we'll have to wait and see. But the market decides all. Let's move on to sealed products. So guys, if you really want to invest in the One Piece TCG, you you're gonna want some sealed product, okay? I get wanting the cards and holding them and looking at them, and I'm all about that, straight up. Like, I care more about buying cards than, you know, sealed product, but we cannot deny the fact that that's how this works. Once these booster boxes, these older ones, you know, they're no longer being reprinted, they're out of the cycle. I mean, people are going to go crazy to get their hands on this. You know, taking a look at the Romance Dawn, where is it? The Romance Dawn first set of the One Piece TCG, the blue bottoms. I mean, look at this, guys. They're reaching almost $3,000 US. Now, if you didn't know, Romance Dawn had two waves. The first one was the blue wave. So the first set on the bottom of the box, it had a blue bottom, and then there was the white bottoms. Okay, where's the white bottoms? Where are you? Here it is. Okay, fair enough, you know, and they were different, and there's like pre-errata cards and stuff like that. So really interesting stuff. People like that stuff. People like misprints or error prints that are fixed, and they want to hold the box that contains those. It's also the first set in the One Piece TCG ever, which is going to hold value long-term anyways, because it just has a special place in the TCG. But listen, if you can't afford a blue bottom, I recommend getting a white one, man. Get a white bottom Romance Dawn. It's still the first set. It's the second wave of the first set. But, I mean, look at this. I mean, this is far cheaper, $700 US, the most recent price. I mean, if you really, really want to throw a couple $1,000s in the One Piece TCG, I think this is a no-brainer. This is definitely up there, okay? I would even say this competes with OP5. I think owning OP5 is obviously another smart play. Where's OP5? I think OP5 is, you know, is a must, okay? I think OP5 is a must. It is just a iconic set. The Gear 5 Luffy manga cards in here. There's just so much going on. But remember, guys, specific booster boxes or sets or whatever contain different chase cards, which influence the value. You know, PRBO1 is insanely expensive. Well, it's, you know, it's $450. It's not insanely expensive. After looking at Romance Dawn, all these other booster boxes aren't even going to look that bad. But PRBO1 has, you know, really gone up. As we know, the reprinted manga cards are in this set. And not to mention, it's just, I'm pretty sure they don't print them anymore. Like, we're on PRBO2 now, or we're just going through that wave. I mean, I'm still holding my PRBO2 box as well, but I can't find PRBO1 for a good price because it's, you know, it's $450, which is like 600 and something Canadian. I mean, it's a decent bit of money, but I think it's a good bet. You know, compared to, like, say, Wings of the Captain, which, by the way, not saying is a bad hold, but Wings of the Captain isn't as significant as, you know, PRBO1, PRBO2, or even, I would say, where are you? Or even I would say OP09, okay, which we're seeing is going up in price. OP09, we've got the Gold Roger manga card in there. Where are you? Gold Roger. Which, by the way, seems to still be the ultimate chase card next to Luffy when it comes to... And I mean, like, it's the only gold manga card. But mark my words, once we start getting into LBAF cards, and once we start releasing characters from those recent chapters, if you know where I'm going with this here, I think Gold Roger's going to start having some competition. Not going to spoil, but if you know, you know, okay? Let's just say it's going to rock some people's worlds, okay? Let's just say that. All right, moving on. All right, sealed product, you're going to want it. Oh, by the way, carrying on his will, I think this is going to be a good box. I think this is going to be the next OP09. Where are you? Okay, it seems like we can only look at the cases right now. But listen, I think it would be smart to assume that this is going to be a good hold, mainly because we've got 3 manga cards. We've got the Luffy, we've got the Ace, and we got the Sabo, and we've got the 3 red, you know, backdrop versions as well. And we've got the Gorosei, and we've got the gold and silver Shanks. I mean, guys, this is going to be a jam-packed set, and it comes out next month, early next month. So heed my warning. Get some of that, okay, if you can. All right, so what else do we want to look at besides sealed product and manga cards? So I'm just going to throw a little thing in here. I've recently been kind of getting sucked down this rabbit hole of treasure rare cards. I didn't really know too much about them, but I've been talking to some people online about this, and supposedly treasure rare cards are actually very difficult to get, which is kind of interesting. Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form comparing these to mangas at all, but it's kind of been a recent thing I've been fixating on. So treasure rare cards apparently are super rare. They're super duper rare. I actually pulled this Luffy from 2 Legends, and I just thought it was an alt art. I have it in my binder. But, as you can see, it shot up 134% over 3 months. But supposedly, treasure rares are super rare cards. And apparently only one comes in every case. I don't know how accurate that is, but I'm very surprised. You can tell it's a treasure rare if it's got the TR right there, as you can see. But they're reprints with, like, different art or something. Feel free to educate me a little bit on this, but, and I see this. I don't like this Nami card, but it's gone up 245%, okay, in 3 months. It's different, okay? It's a different card. But as you can see, there's not many. There's not many. Feel free to do your own homework on these, but I thought that was interesting. There's not that many, and I believe they only started making treasure rares from OP07, which seems to be the case, actually. So they're fairly a new concept, but anyways, let's move on. So what else should you be investing in the One Piece TCG? Well, guys, just to really quickly go over it, serialized cards are a great bet. I mean, they're beautiful looking. They've got this awesome little stamp, which I personally am a big fan of. I really like the stamp. And of course, we've got the serialized number, which means there's only a certain limited amount of these cards. So listen, I'm going to save you some time. I'm not going to go too deep into this because it's straightforward, okay? If you own a Luffy serialized card, you're winning. If you've got this graded PSA 10, you are winning, okay? But seriously, it is worth looking into, and they're super difficult to get, which is why they're super expensive. And I just really think it is a smart play to get one or two of these if you can. I mean, imagine being one of the only holders out of 1,000 of, say, this Ace card or the Shanks card, and they've got new ones coming out. They've got a really awesome looking Zoro. I think I retweeted this. Here it is, yeah. By the way, follow me on Twitter, Treasure Theory. But yeah, as we can see here, this is the Japanese card right now. There's gonna be 2,700 of this Zoro, but look how good this Zoro looks, man. That looks hype. That looks so good. They've got a Nami one as well. I mean, will we see this in English? I mean, maybe. I have no idea, but they're making more as time goes on, and if you don't know, you can't just win this. You have to participate in the Treasure Cup tournaments, and like the top players basically get a pack, and there's a chance that they can. Oh, whoa, that's a little spicy post down there. But basically, you can win a serialized card by winning the tournaments, which is like insane, crazy luck. But serialized cards, I think they're a good play. And taking a look at eBay, guys, I just kind of wanted to have this on the side here. Prices are not necessarily reflecting reality on eBay. I've been kind of dabbling with buying stuff on eBay, and I've realized that, if you can go on these Facebook marketplaces and get a good deal for cards, especially for slabs, that's probably better than eBay. Because this Zoro is being sold for almost $19,000, okay? And let's just take a look real quick at this Zoro. This Zoro is, let's see here. The current market price from what we can see on TCG Player is around $625. Now, if some nutbag or Pokebro who's just like rich or is participating in market manipulation happens to buy this, it's going to shoot the market price up, and then people are going to assume this card is worth that much money. That's why eBay is a weird place for me right now. I know it's like the best place to, get what you're looking for, but just be mindful of that. Prices don't necessarily reflect reality. Like, look at this Boa Hancock. We got the SP from OP01, okay, and straight up, like, beautiful card. But it's selling for over almost $1,200 US. I mean, it's an SP, not a manga, by the way. And the manga for Boa, actually, I mean, well, let's see. Yeah, it's going for more than the Boa manga, which is $949, which, by the way, is a better investment, if you ask me. So I just wanted to throw that really quick in there. But guys, one last thing to bring up, okay? One last thing to bring up, because we cannot include it, is these Treasure Cup cards and these like champion cards. I actually recently picked up the championship Nami and Juro versions not too long ago, and I happened to get this pudding participation card as well. I think these cards are really nice, and they're unique because, obviously One Piece appeals to its player base heavily. You've got hardcore gamers or players of the game. You've got hardcore collectors, and then you've got everything in between, and you've got all this other things too. The people who really play the game, they do not really care about collecting. They just care about the cards. but to be able to participate in the Treasure Cup events and win these awesome looking cards is fantastic. I mean, look at this Kaido Treasure Cup card. You know, this was listed for $8,700, and I believe that. I mean, like, look at this card. This is a fantastic card, and I believe it's the winner Treasure Cup. Could not tell you the year, but actually, can we find this? Can we find this on eBay? No, we can't even find it on eBay. Granted, it's ebay.ca, but you know, they're hard to come by. Okay, Treasure Cup cards. I mean, you gotta win them to get them. And that's really cool. You know, I've got this Sanji right here. Where the hell is he? You know, I managed to get this Sanji. I didn't win it, but I wanted to invest in it because I think Treasure Cup cards are super cool. They're basically trophies. They're basically trophy cards. So, you know, just imagine trophies on your shelf, but it's a card. It's a unique card. Not many people have it. It will probably go up in value, and I think there's going to be an acknowledgement of Treasure Cup cards more so in the future from the players, but could be wrong, don't know. But I do think Treasure Cup cards are a fun hold, and I personally really love them. I could be wrong. Maybe people don't care about them, but I think they're one of the most unique cards next to manga cards and serialized cards in the One Piece TCG, and I think you should be looking at them. But anyways, guys, I could keep going on about all this stuff, but I just kind of wanted to really kind of funnel in and break down, you know, what I'm thinking about when it comes to investing in the One Piece TCG. Perhaps you knew all this stuff already, or perhaps this has been very helpful for you. But let me know in the comments, are there other cards? Are there other things that I didn't touch on? Maybe I didn't touch on the pre-made decks that you can buy, or you know, maybe there's just some other things I've just missed. But I do think as long as you have this knowledge, I think you'll do okay. And obviously, none of this is financial advice. Be smart with your money, and remember, we're investing in cardboard, guys. This isn't the safest bet. It's really not, okay? But maybe in 5-10 years time horizon, maybe things really show to be worth it. But we're going to have to wait and see. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you want to see more videos, a video should pop up on the screen. Be sure to click it, and I will see you over there.